I hope you guys are doing good today. I hope you guys are having a good day.
Genocide Israel is committing in Gaza. It's becoming so incredibly obvious what is happening there. Let's pull up this Gallup poll before we play Rogan. But this is just you can see in this graphic here, a Gallup poll that was released yesterday showing how much public opinion has shifted on Israel's military action in Gaza. Even with the media blackout leading up to this moment, leading up to this poll, like it's basically, we've been calling it a genocide since November or something like that.
I mean, it was a slow genocide before October 7th.
Right, frankly. Right, yeah. But even with it being so tilted in the favor of Israel.
So this says changes in views of Israeli military action in Gaza by party ID. The question is, do you approve or disapprove of the military action Israel has taken in Gaza? Looks like in the United States, in November, 71% of Republicans approved, and in March, 64% of Republicans approved. And then with independents, it went from 50% to 29%, which is pretty crazy.
Israel's narrative in the mainstream press, it's becoming incredibly clear. Yeah, Republicans basically still support Israel's military actions. The question is, do you approve or disapprove of the military action Israel has taken in Gaza? In November, 71% of Republicans approved, 23% disapproved. Now that has slightly changed. 64% approve, 30% disapprove. Independents, now in March 2024, 60% disapprove of Israel's military actions. That's a change from 48% in November. And Democrats in November were already beginning to see that this was disproportionate. 63% were disapproving. Now 75% of Democrats disapprove. So Biden is never going to win over those Republicans. He should be fairly concerned about those independents there. 60% of them disapprove of Israel's military actions, and clearly, I would imagine, by extension, our support of them, especially if that were to be made clear, how extensively we support Israel as their chief diplomatic cover in the world, as their protector, as their backer, as the mob boss behind their actions, and as their arms supplier. Now, that shift in public opinion is now reflected by Joe Rogan. Here, who says the word genocide on his program when speaking to Kurt Metzger, who is going to town on this joint, by the way. And they're talking about this within the context of Candace Owens being let go, or the parting of ways from the Daily Wire. Right. But who, I mean, she's anti-Semitic.
She is anti-Semitic, and she backed off, I think, frankly, the Israel stuff. I think she's been pretty actually tepid on that. Of course, that was the real problem that they had with her, more than her actual anti-Semitism, which does exist.
Well, yeah, they didn't fire her when she was defending Kanye, who was saying, I love Hitler over and over again. They fired her when she started criticizing Israel.
Hey, I want to know what she was fired for. Because was it criticism of Israel? Was it, I mean, did she show that Edward Snowden video that he put up on Twitter that shows them drone bombing those kids that are, those men, I should say, unarmed people that were walking towards the rubble that clearly weren't causing any danger to anybody? Yeah, right. They just bombed them.
Yeah, no, it's your duty. It's just like for Biden or whoever you like, you're supposed to cover up for them. Because
the whole thing is like they're always saying they're only targeting Hamas and everybody else is a casualty. Well, if those guys are just unarmed civilians and they're walking alone, that's what they appear to be.
Dresden.
And you just blast them from the sky with robots.
This is the tragedy of war.
Yeah, this is insane. And no one knows what to think now, because if you can't talk about that, if you can't say that's real, then you're saying that genocide is okay as long as we're doing it. And
that is what we're saying.
And if you're saying that from a perspective of someone who literally went through the Holocaust, or your people, your tribe, went through the fucking Holocaust, and now you're willing to do it?
I hope the irony's not lost on you.
It's so nuts. It's so hard to imagine that someone, where a culture, like a country was like officially founded in what, 47?
48.
48? Okay, officially founded. So that's so recent, and you guys are willing to do what was done to you that led you to believe that you needed to start your own country. You're willing to do that at least on a small scale in Gaza. Like there's nothing left. If you see the videos, let's see some recent footage of Gaza.
Yeah,
and so I guess they show that. So, I mean, the problem that Rogan has here is that he's right about the genocide point, but he's wrong about almost every other part of like the justification for the creation of Israel.
Classic.
A quick history lesson. The Balfour Declaration was in 1917. Balfour himself was anti-Semitic and did not want Jews in Britain. But there was also a nationalist Zionist movement. Herzl is at the figurehead of that.
Been around for about a quarter century before the Balfour Declaration.
And then it did, because of the persecution of Jews in Europe, begin to ramp up and escalate during that time period. And it was the Holocaust and the anti-Semitism in Europe that drove many European Jews to Israel. And so that is in part why the state of Israel was founded, but it was mostly founded as a nationalistic project, a settler colonial project, which.
Sorry, I have to point out like the chatter that like completely got fucking called the fuck out. Following 5 minutes ago. Hi, what do you think of the Israeli counterterrorism operations in Gaza at Denims? And normal community member says, bait used to be believable. Bait. And any normal person that wasn't typing a bait question would say, what are you talking about? I'm just asking, huh? Question mark, question mark? And they're like, I asked Denims a question. I don't answer because I'm like, I want to see what this insane guy's going to say next. So let me avoid him. I'm just going to pretend like I didn't see it. The Jews in Germany, unlike the modern Palestinians, didn't have an independent terrorist organization and bombed and raped German civilians like the Palestinians did to the Jews. Shocker. Shocker. Whoa. I would have never guessed that would have been the next sentence you would say. Also, what a crazy take to have. By the way, is the claim here that, like, if there were Jewish people who had raped Germans, it would have been okay to genocide the Jews? Like, think before you speak, dude. Like, what do you think? Like, are you sure? I just want to make sure are you sure that you want to take that stance? I just want to make sure, okay, that you are okay with taking the stance. If a few people in a group do something bad, we can genocide the rest of them. I just want to make sure that you're committing to that position and you aren't making a mistake anywhere. Just want to make sure.
Before it was Israel, it was a British colony. And so, like, to frame it within this context of your people experienced a genocide, and then you turn around and you do it to other people. Yeah. Again, it misses the point. And I think it actually inflames anti-Semitic sentiment, because it's not about that. It is about settler colonialism, not about religious war, not about ideology, not about culture, which is what he kept saying. It's a right.
Not even primarily about the Holocaust.
Not even primarily about the Holocaust. It's used as justification. I mean, Netanyahu spreads a conspiracy theory that it was actually the Palestinian Grand Mufti who gave Hitler the idea to exterminate the Jews, that he wasn't even that committed to it. The Palestinians are the ones who are worse. So in fact, it is used as a propaganda object. Now, I welcome Joe Rogan saying this. I would not be shocked if he contradicts himself in 2 days. Okay, this is not somebody who is our friend. This is
those tunnels are pretty scary, bro. I mean, this would be just like how he's like, you're not on the team if you're anti-immigrant, and then now he's basically like, they're invading us, sending hordes.
The only reason I find this fascinating is because of the fact that he's saying it.
Yeah, he's a gatekeeper on ideas.
Really, yes, and the fact that like anybody who's listening to that show has a lot of influence. It's becoming so obvious, and there's part of me that's just like deeply resentful of the fact that people just didn't pay attention when folks like us were saying that it was a genocide, when we were being called anti-Semitic because of it. It's not.
And like the thing is, it almost feels like weird to me to take this stance at this point that like, no, Israel is not committing a genocide. Dude, if you just look at the ICJ case, you'll see that what Israel's doing is not good. And the ICJ, they said what they said for a reason. I believe the words that they used were something like, we have reason to believe that this case against Israel committing a genocide has some standing, and we are not dismissing the case and would like to further pursue it. I feel like that should be evidence enough that you are maybe an idiot to not think that they're doing a genocide. Maybe you can't just kill 10,000 kids because there are terrorists in a country. Maybe. And I think once you use the school shooter analogy, it's like no one would disagree. So why is it cool that like we're killing all these Palestinian people? Like there is a terrorist, a domestic terrorist, a school shooter in a school. And as you would imagine, he is shooting children. No one would be like, okay, quick, send in an airstrike. Those are human shield children. We got to get the terrorists. You like what? No, there's innocent people in that building. You can't just fucking kill them. What? But it's okay when we do it in Palestine? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Woe is us. It's just like if people had come to this obvious conclusion before this point,
and
how many lives could have been saved?
And
how many?
Their bubble.
Bro,
it needs to come through their bubble. Like
bro,
Candace
you hear what's
Owens.
happening in Gaza? Joe Rogan just broke the news.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Even crediting, did Snowden leak that video, or did he just like retweet
He
it?
probably just retweeted it.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
he didn't leak it. Al Jazeera did.
The universe of people is so like, oh, Candace Owens said something and Snowden said something, so now we can acknowledge it as reality. It's in front of Kurt Metzger. It is an amazing bubble to like witness, yeah.
It is what it
but
is.
I'm glad that the word genocide is punctured in.
Yes, I mean, and we're beginning to the word genocide is almost too delicate of a term for what we're experiencing. This is an attempt for an extermination, because genocide means killing a group in part or in whole.
Plenty of people who like veterans of the fight against South Africa apartheid have said that actually this settler colonial project is more difficult than the South Africa one in terms of prognosis, because they don't want to have Palestinians there working as laborers. They want them gone so they can have the land.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing in Gaza right now. That's why you see Jared Kushner talk about the different types of properties that could be made there. You have literally sales going on Zoom across to sell like I don't know how that stuff's legal, but maybe that's we should get an expert on that.
Oh no, don't. I saw today that there are donation tax deduct. You can donate to a group called IMTI Zionism. Obviously, do not do this. It's a tax deductible group that you can donate to that helps block the aid trucks from entering into Gaza.
I can understand the type of person that's like apathetic to other people's problems because like they just can't give a fuck about anyone besides themselves. Whatever, sure, I get it. Like my brain, I can understand that type of person. You have your own problems. You have your own life. You work paycheck to paycheck. You just don't have the time and energy to dedicate to people who are suffering somewhere else. Okay. Spending your money to donate to an anti-charity? What the fuck? being like, I just worked a real job and I'm going to take this real money that I got from my real job to make sure other kids don't get food. That I don't understand. That, like, beyond my comprehension.
Just about to donate until you told me not to. I mean, it seems pretty obvious.
Yep.
I mean, it's. I mean, video after video comes out, usually posted by the individuals themselves, showing them blocking the aid, proudly blocking the aid. And then you got the IDF soldiers posting their war crimes. I really do think the most bizarre videos. They might not be as gory as some of the other ones, but to me, just something about and the fact that they're so widespread, the videos of the IDF soldiers with the women's undergarments, the bra.
Historical reminder, one of the reasons that Madeleine Albright was such a scumbag was that she argued about the definition of genocide while the Rwanda genocide was actively occurring. Not calling a genocide is literally avoiding responsibility to intervene. That's it. Why do you think there has been a reason that why do you think the US hasn't called it a genocide? Why do you think that the U.S. doesn't use the term ceasefire?
The panties, it's just disgusting. I just can't get over them. So many of them, too, posting that.
Playing with children's soccer balls in their homes that have been demolished and laughing about it and talking about how beautiful the beach is. You just see how deeply the culture of impunity and the brainwashing, the extreme brainwashing, how that's taken root. And again, there are many hyper-religious freaks, Zionists, that believe this is the Holy Land and they use religious justification. I mean, the settlers are, there's a good amount of them there. But for, Benjamin Netanyahu is not an extremely religious man.
Neither were the labor Zionists who were foundational to the formation of the country. The religious element became a very useful tool,
right.
And it is to this day.
That is what fascism can harness, is this imagined mythical past, or this utopian vision of a society that is built for you and by you at the expense of millions of thousands of people, whatever the case is, and you do whatever you can to achieve that goal. It's just the way that it's sold, as opposed to the driver behind the exterminationist violence. Before we move on from Gaza, I just wanted to play this. We'll just do the reporter part. I'll explain what she said earlier. So Francesca Albanese is the special rapporteur for human rights at the United Nations, and she has been working on a report on what's happening in Gaza, and she entitled it "The Anatomy of a Genocide." And she said the word genocide. This is a really important report within the context of the United Nations, and she didn't hold back, and said this is some of the worst humanity can offer in what she saw there. After she made her announcement about her findings, a German reporter questioned her and asked her whether she had sufficient evidence to deem this a genocide, and I found her answer to be as straightforward and as clear as it gets.
And you're quoting the president of Israel, the prime minister, the defense minister, and some top militaries. But these are only quotes given in speeches or in other circumstances. I would like to ask you, do you have a written document by the government with a clear intent to commit genocide?
This audio.
Do you think that in Rwanda and in Bosnia and Herzegovina, any government officials wrote a document saying, I want to commit genocide? Have you seen anything like that? I'll answer this for you. No, it doesn't work like that. Those statements are just the tip of the iceberg, because I have a word limit in my reports, which is quite strict. Otherwise, we could write an encyclopedia with what has been said and done. And I said it, and I mean it. If the International Criminal Court is serious about investigating what Israel has done in Gaza, as of the 7th of October, only as of the 7th of October, it will be busy for decades.
So that is just exactly right. That is exactly right. I mean, we had Hanno Hauenstein on, who is a German reporter. We had him on a few weeks ago just to speak about Germany's relationship with the state of Israel. Besides the United States, Germany, I think, is the number 2 or number 3, one of the top weapons dealers to the state of Israel, which, if to borrow an old Norm Macdonald bit, I'm not sure, I'm not a history buff, but I'm pretty sure I have an understanding of what Germany was complicit in terms of the genocide that they committed against the Jews. Millions and millions of Jews and other groups as well, the Roma, LGBTQ people, targeted.
And if you look at the things that they've said, like and by they, I specifically am talking about government officials and people in positions of power in Israel, like Ben Gvir. Like, the people in power in Israel are saying, we need to wipe out Gaza. We need to erase Gaza. When we're done, there will be nothing left. These people will have no power, no food, no water. It's like, you don't have to even believe us. Just go watch what these people have to say. You don't have to take my word for it. You can just go see them talk about it.
Massacred, exterminated by the German government. And instead of reparations coming from the Germans in the form of, like, I don't know, continued financial reparations or other ways to repair the incredible harm that they have done to millions and millions of people, they have outsourced it to the Palestinians and says, well, you know, you bear the brunt of our crimes. And that is, I think, apparently just so central right now to the German power structure, because they can't even really acknowledge it, the reality of what they've done, or actually, you know, bear the brunt of it.
Right. Continuing to not actually make amends for. I mean, and the idea that there is not explicit statements of intent here is just, that exists nowhere in reality except on the...
Sorry, I love these people. I love these people so much. What about the slogan, Free Palestine from the river to the sea, ? This has the same energy as the people that are like, oh yeah? Well, George Not Found couldn't consent to groping that woman because he was also drunk. It's like, if you're the one doing the genocide, what you say matters. Guess what? If Israel was a nation of 10 people and those 10 people had no power and they were saying, we need to kill all the Palestinians, they're not doing a genocide. What they say doesn't matter because they're not killing anyone, actually, because they don't have the power to. But when you have a nation like Israel that is backed by America, that has all of America's resources, all of America's military and military equipment and billions of dollars of aid, and they're killing tens of thousands of Palestinians, then you look at what they say. Then you look at what they're saying. And what they're saying is, we're going to raise Gaza. You have to look at the actions and then see what they're saying. And when the government there is saying the shit that they're saying and they're killing tens of thousands of people, then it fucking matters. Not to mention the fact that the slogan free from river to sea, Palestine will be free. Not to mention that that slogan is not a genocidal slogan. And if you do think it's a genocidal, if you do think it's a genocidal slogan, I implore you to watch this Matt Lieb video. Where is it? Can someone... I have the clip, or I know the clip is on Twitter, but I can't find the clip on YouTube. Maybe it hasn't been reposted to YouTube, which is a little annoying, I guess. But if someone has it, please post it in chat, and we can watch it with the people who need to see it.
The ADL talking points list that media assets get. There's this guy. We'll go to this here. Bradley, can you hit a translate bio on this fella here? Deputy Speaker of the Knesset, member of the Foreign Affairs and Security Committee, the 23rd Knesset and the 25th Knesset. Now, Bradley, go to that tweet that I have of this fella, and don't translate it right away. Okay, look at that. That's in Hebrew. Nice. Now, translate post for me, Bradley. He says, erase Gaza. Nothing else will satisfy us. It is not acceptable that we have a terrorist authority next to Israel. Do not leave a child there to expel all the remaining ones at the end so that they will not have a resurrection. So, like, it's a waste of time and breath. And that was on people's attention.
Excuse me, sir, Matt Leck. Can you please point me to the official government document that has those words? Otherwise, I don't believe
it's just a tweet.
He didn't say genocide, so...
The exact same type of denialism is used to throw sand in people's eyes over the actual Holocaust and Shoah.
Well, that's my other question: was the Germans, the Nazis, talked over and over again about the final solution, the final solution, the final solution, but
Holocaust deniers lean on the same lack of
right, because they didn't say genocide and the final solution. It really is despicable, and despicable, especially coming from a German reporter.
Yeah.
At a Berlin newspaper too, one of the bigger ones.
Yeah. No, I mean it is. We are surrounded by people who will echo this, and in our media and ecosystem as well, and they should be treated with the utmost hostility and lack of respect, because what they are is the modern version of Holocaust deniers.
Yep.
And I will also say, okay, one more thing. I do think that comparing Hamas or like the threat of the Palestinian resistance to that of Nazis and the Holocaust is also Holocaust denial.
It's Nazi shit.
It's Nazi. It's Holocaust revisionism at its best and Holocaust denial at its worst. Because what you are doing is completely disassociating the context and the reality of what the Nazi ideology was, which was a extreme far-right nationalist ideology.
Oh my God, Oberga, thank you. This. If you think from the river to the sea is genocidal, you will hate this video. You will really, really, really hate this video. And you really should double check before you commit to the position. That statement is genocidal. Because by saying it, you're basically saying that Israel is genocidal.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
This is a sarcastic video from a Twitter comedian, just for context, for anyone who hasn't seen it.
That is a genocidal slogan, okay? Because the river that they're talking about right here, this is Jordan River, to the sea, Mediterranean Sea, I'll edit and post, Palestine will be free. What's in the middle here? Israel? No longer. Now it's Palestine. What happened to Israel? They pushed it into the sea. It's code. It's code for doing a genocide. Whatever is in the middle here, whatever country in the middle, between river and sea, that will be free, is saying they will be free of the other. Whoever's free is just doing a genocide. That's how it is. And I can prove it, because right now, from the river to the sea, Israel's free currently, and they're doing a genocide. So, I mean, it's kind of flawless logic. From the river.
Which is like, again, just a beautiful video. Just like got me in the first half. Honestly, I should retweet this because people need to see this. If you are unironically one of the idiots that's like, from river to the sea, Palestine will be free as a genocidal statement. So what you're saying is the country that's taking this country that's there is doing the genocide. You know right now the country that's there
to the sea, Palestine.
The country that's there is Israel right now. That's what's there right now. But okay, sure. I mean, if you want to take that stance and admit that Israel is doing a genocide, please be my guest, please.
That came not from space, but from political situations and from in a reality that was less than 100 years ago. And some of those systems are still in existence to this day. So when you make those assertions about resistance to the settler colonial state of Israel, what you're doing is downplaying the political realities that gave rise to the Nazis and to one of the worst crimes that has ever been inflicted upon humanity in the Holocaust. You water it down and you muddy the waters and you make it unclear to people from a historical context. It's really, really disgusting. So. All right, let's take a call.
That's a great point. Yeah, let's take a call.
Thanks, Bender. Thank you very much.
Great video. Absolutely great video. Excellent video.